To the public, the wives of billionaires look like ornaments, polished, elegant, adorned with wealth that seems effortless. But beneath the photographs and the jewels lies something deeper: strategy. Because no man who controls empires, corporations, or fortunes simply stumbles into a wife, and no woman who marries him without understanding the hidden rules of power lasts very long. Here is the paradox. Outsiders believe billionaire marriages are about romance, or worse, about luck. Insiders know better. These women operate by a code, not written in books, not taught in schools, but passed through whispers, examples, and quiet rituals. A billionaire's wife must be more than beautiful. She must be disciplined, strategic, and untouchable. She must play roles so subtly that no rival can replace her. Tonight, we open that code. We expose the hidden rules that separate the replaceable from the irreplaceable, the forgotten from the unforgettable. Because history proves again and again, beauty fades, charm flickers, but the woman who understands these rules becomes permanent. Rule 1. He chooses beauty. He keeps strategy. Men of extreme wealth can buy beauty endlessly. Models, actresses, socialites. Beauty is abundant, but strategy is not. The woman who lasts is the one who converts beauty into leverage, who understands that attention is currency and spends it sparingly, who does not chase but draws in, who never reveals desperation, because desperation is the quickest way to be replaced. This is why so many stunning women pass through the lives of billionaires like shadows, while a select few remain for decades. The difference is not looks, it is discipline. A billionaire's wife does not flaunt abundance. She cultivates scarcity. She knows beauty attracts, but strategy keeps. Rule 2. Respect comes from boundaries, not pleasing. Ordinary women are trained to please, to forgive quickly, to adapt endlessly, to say yes. But a billionaire's wife learns fast. The more you please, the less you are valued. The women who command devotion enforce boundaries. They say no to disrespect, no to neglect, no to crumbs. And they do it not with screaming, but with silence and withdrawal. Men at the top are surrounded by yes men. Employees, assistants, investors, all bowing. What terrifies and fascinates them is the rare woman who does not. The wife who calmly enforces standards becomes magnetic because she is the only one he cannot command, and that resistance, that unshakable self-respect, is what makes him protect her more fiercely than anything else. Rule 3. Mystery, outlasts, glamour. Glamour is expensive, but it is also predictable. A gown, a diamond, a photo shoot. Anyone with money can produce it. What cannot be bought is mystery. The wives who endure are not the ones who share every detail of their lives, their feelings, their past. They are the ones who reveal little, always leaving questions, always leaving gaps that spark obsession. Mystery is the greatest shield. It ensures that no matter how long a man is with her, he never feels he fully owns her, and what he does not fully own, he cannot discard. Mystery is not aloofness, it is control over revelation. A billionaire's wife knows, let the world guess, let him wonder. That is the rope that keeps him tethered. Rule 4. Loyalty is currency, not surrender. Men at the top live surrounded by opportunists, friends who betray, investors who defect, allies who vanish at the first sign of trouble. In that environment, loyalty is more precious than gold. But here is the twist. Loyalty does not mean surrender. A billionaire's wife does not cling or beg. She demonstrates loyalty through discretion, through silence, through her refusal to humiliate him publicly. This is why the most respected wives rarely air grievances in tabloids, rarely embarrass their husbands at galas. They may punish privately, they may withdraw coldly, but in public they protect the image. This makes them irreplaceable, because to a billionaire, reputation is empire. The wife who guards it becomes indispensable. She holds power not because she is submissive, but because her loyalty is a shield that no amount of money can buy. Rule 5. Presence must be orchestrated. A billionaire's wife does not stumble into rooms, she orchestrates her presence, whether arriving late at a gala, commanding stillness at a board dinner, or remaining unseen for weeks before reappearing. Her presence is deliberate. Every glance, every smile, every silence is calculated. This is not vanity, it is strategy. Presence is a weapon that either elevates or diminishes. The ordinary woman rushes, apologizes, explains. The billionaire's wife glides, pauses, and lets the room bend around her. In elite circles, appearance is branding, and branding, once mastered, translates into power far beyond beauty. A lesson from history. Consider Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. She was not simply the wife of a powerful man, she was the embodiment of these hidden rules. She mastered mystery, rarely revealing her feelings. She orchestrated presence, creating an aura wherever she went. She enforced boundaries, demanding respect even in the glare of the public eye. That is why she remains iconic, while countless other political wives are forgotten. History proves the truth. Beauty may capture attention, but it is strategy that makes a woman unforgettable. Billionaires, kings, and presidents alike bend not to perfection, but to the aura of discipline. The aura that says, I cannot be replaced. We have only begun to peel back the code. These first 5 rules explain why some women rise above the chaos of wealth, while others vanish into obscurity. But the deeper rules, about competition, silence, detachment, and the art of making yourself indispensable, are even sharper. Because the true secret of a billionaire's wife is not how she enters his life, it is how she ensures she never leaves it. Rule 6. Competition must be orchestrated. Every billionaire's wife understands one truth. There are always rivals. Younger women, hungrier socialites, ambitious actresses. But instead of panicking, she orchestrates competition. She creates the illusion of choice. She makes him feel pursued by others, while subtly positioning herself as the rare constant. This is not about jealousy. It is about contrast. Rivals prove her value by failing to replace her. The mistake ordinary women make is to fight openly with rivals. The strategic woman does not lower herself. She never claws, she never begs. She allows rivals to expose their desperation while she remains composed. And in that contrast, she rises. Because men do not cling to the one who fights hardest. They cling to the one who does not need to fight at all. Rule 7. Absence is more powerful than presence. Ordinary women fear absence. They equate presence with love, availability with devotion. But in the billionaire's world, absence is priceless. Travel, work, distractions. He lives in abundance. What he lacks is scarcity. The wife who withdraws strategically, who disappears without explanation, who reappears radiant, becomes unforgettable. This is why some of the most powerful wives are seen rarely in public. They allow absence to create mystery, to sharpen presence. They know that constant exposure breeds boredom, but scarcity breeds obsession. The rule is timeless. Abundance is ordinary. Scarcity is power. Rule 8. Selectivity creates status. To a billionaire, everything is available. Restaurants, cars, villas, jewels. Nothing is out of reach. But what he cannot buy is selectivity. A wife who does not accept every invitation, who does not entertain every acquaintance, who filters her world with care, radiates status. Selectivity is a signal. If she chooses to be somewhere, it must matter. If she chooses to speak, it must carry weight. This rule separates the replaceable from the untouchable. A woman who spreads her energy everywhere becomes invisible. A woman who invests it sparingly becomes magnetic. The hidden rule is simple. Value rises when supply falls. And in the rarefied world of billionaires, selectivity is the sharpest signal of superiority. Rule 9. Shaping perception is stronger than arguing facts. Billionaire wives know that perception rules reality. Scandal can be survived if framed correctly. Mediocrity can be elevated with elegance. Reputation can outlast truth. That is why they invest so carefully in how they are seen. From wardrobe to posture, from silence to rare comments, everything is about perception. The ordinary woman argues facts. She explains, defends, justifies. The billionaire's wife never explains. She shapes perception instead. If she is silent, people assume depth. If she smiles faintly, people assume knowledge. If she leaves early, people assume superiority. Perception is the battlefield, and she wins by controlling the frame. Case study: Melania Trump. Melania Trump is a case study in these hidden rules. Married to one of the most polarizing billionaires in history, she rarely spoke, rarely revealed, rarely explained. Critics called her cold. Admirers called her mysterious. But both missed the point. She weaponized silence. By saying less, she forced others to project their own meanings. Her selectivity, in words, in appearances, made her impossible to ignore. Whether loved or criticized, she commanded attention by not chasing it. That is the hidden rule. In a world where everyone demands to be seen, the woman who withholds becomes the most visible of all. Rule 10. Emotional control is non-negotiable. A billionaire's wife cannot afford public outbursts. Anger, jealousy, desperation, all are luxuries she cannot indulge. Because the moment she loses composure, rivals exploit it. Billionaire circles thrive on gossip, and gossip is a weapon sharper than steel. Emotional control is armor. She may feel deeply, but she reveals almost nothing. This is why detachment becomes indispensable. Not coldness, but composure. The wife who smiles calmly through insult, who withdraws instead of exploding, who acts instead of arguing, terrifies her rivals, because nothing is more unsettling than a woman who cannot be provoked. Rule 11. The illusion of softness. Powerful men expect confrontation from rivals, but softness from women. The billionaire's wife uses this to her advantage. She appears gentle, graceful, agreeable, until boundaries are crossed. Then she reveals steel. This contrast is disarming. He expects forgiveness. Instead, he finds distance. He expects compliance. Instead, he finds silence. The mask of softness hides the blade of discipline. This is not performance for the sake of manipulation. It is performance for survival. The billionaire's wife knows she must never appear threatening, yet she must never surrender authority. She balances the two by cloaking strength in elegance. Softness is the disguise. Steel is the reality. Case study: Catherine de' Medici. History offers another example. Catherine de' Medici, Queen of France, was underestimated for her femininity, yet beneath her elegance lay ruthless calculation. She manipulated alliances, balanced rivals, and survived a court designed to devour her. Her power came from contrast, the illusion of grace hiding an iron will. This is the same hidden rule billionaire wives employ. Appear soft, remain steel, and never let them see the blade until it is too late. We now see the deeper code. These rules move beyond attraction and elegance into control itself. Orchestrating competition, mastering absence, weaponizing selectivity, shaping perception, enforcing emotional control, and disguising steel beneath softness. These are not optional, they are survival. Because in the rarefied world of billionaires, every woman is watched. The one who endures is the one who obeys the hidden rules no one dares to admit aloud. Rule 12. Legacy is the true battlefield. For ordinary women, the relationship is the goal. For a billionaire's wife, legacy is the battlefield. She knows the marriage is not just about love or companionship. It is about dynasty, inheritance, trusts, wills, children. These are the weapons of the elite. A careless wife risks being replaced not only in affection, but in history itself. The disciplined wife fights for permanence in the record. This is why heirs become central, not because of maternal instinct alone, but because children secure legacy. The wife who positions herself as the guardian of the dynasty becomes untouchable. She frames herself not as ornament, but as necessity. Rivals can replace beauty. They cannot replace lineage. Rule 13. Influence through heirs. Billionaire wives often wield their greatest influence through heirs, a son who inherits the empire, a daughter who carries the family name. Each child strengthens the wife's position, but the sharpest wives go further. They shape their children's image, curate their education, control who they marry. This is not maternal fussing, it is strategy. By shaping heirs, she shapes the future. This rule has existed for centuries. Queens arranged marriages, not for romance, but for alliance. Today, billionaire wives cultivate networks in schools, internships, and charities that build the next dynasty. It is never about the moment. It is always about the next generation. Rule 14. Discretion is stronger than outrage. In the billionaire's world, affairs and indiscretions are common. The women who survive them are not the ones who scream. They are the ones who respond with discretion. Outrage diminishes power. Discretion builds it. A wife who reveals nothing publicly but punishes, privately, terrifies her husband, because she has proven that she can destroy without ever raising her voice. This is why so many billionaire divorces are settled quietly. Public explosions destroy legacies. Silent negotiations preserve them. The wife who masters discretion is not weak. She is strategic. She understands that in a world driven by perception, silence is often the sharpest blade. Rule 15. Withdrawal is the sharpest punishment. Ordinary women argue. The billionaire's wife withdraws. She leaves the room. She cuts access. She retreats into silence so heavy it unsettles everyone around her. Withdrawal is her weapon, because absence breeds fear. Men who command armies cannot bear the loss of intimacy. The wife who can vanish at will controls him more than the one who clings. This rule is timeless. History is filled with women who punished with absence, queens who refused audiences, courtesans who withheld attention, modern wives who disappear from public life until apologies are made. The lesson is clear. Words fade. Withdrawal endures. Case study: Wallis Simpson. Consider Wallis Simpson, the woman for whom King Edward VIII abdicated his throne. She was not the most beautiful woman in Europe. She was divorced twice, scandalous by every measure. Yet she mastered withdrawal and discretion. She allowed herself to be pursued, never chasing. She cultivated mystery, revealing little. And she weaponized absence, letting Edward believe that without her, life was unbearable. Her influence reshaped the British monarchy itself, not through beauty, but through the hidden rules. Rule 16. Control the social web. In billionaire circles, social status is currency. A wife who controls access to galas, fundraisers, and charities controls reputation. This is why so many billionaire wives dominate the social calendar. They host, they curate, they decide who is seen and who is excluded. In doing so, they wield more power than their husbands realize, because reputation is built not only in boardrooms, but in whispers at dinners. The hidden rule is this: control the invitations, and you control the room. A rival may have beauty, but if she is never invited, she never exists. Social control is invisibility turned into exile. Rule 17. Public image is more important than private reality. The billionaire's wife understands that what the public believes is stronger than what is true. Her marriage may be cold, but if the image looks strong, her position is secure. Her relationship may be strained, but if the photographs shine, rivals hesitate. Public image protects private strategy. It creates an aura of permanence, even when reality is fragile. This is why wives invest so heavily in charities, interviews, curated appearances. They know that perception bends truth, and if the world sees them as permanent, they become permanent. The public story is the fortress. Reality can be reshaped within it. Case study: Anna Wintour. Though not a wife to a billionaire in the traditional sense, Anna Wintour demonstrates the same rule. As the editor of Vogue, she built an aura of untouchability. Her image, the bob haircut, the sunglasses, the stillness, became legend. Her private life was less important than the brand she embodied. That aura gave her influence over billionaires themselves. This is the lesson wives adapt. When the image is impeccable, the private truth no longer matters. At this level, the rules shift from survival to permanence. Legacy, heirs, discretion, withdrawal, social control, and public image. These are the tools that turn a wife into dynasty. Billionaires may build fortunes, but it is their wives who decide whether those fortunes endure. The final rules, however, are the sharpest of all. They are about replacing need with power, ensuring that even if the man falls, the woman remains untouchable. Rule 18. Detachment is survival. The most dangerous mistake a billionaire's wife can make is becoming dependent. Dependence is weakness. The untouchable wives cultivate detachment. They never need his money, his approval, or his affection to define themselves. They enjoy them, but they do not depend on them. This detachment unsettles him. It makes him realize she is with him by choice, not necessity. And choice is power. This is why many billionaire wives build their own careers, foundations, or brands. Not because they need the money, but because independence is strategy. A woman with her own empire is untouchable. A woman who needs his empire is disposable. Rule 19. Never be fully known. Ordinary relationships crave transparency, but in the billionaire's world, transparency kills desire. The untouchable wife knows that to be fully known is to be fully consumed, and what is fully consumed becomes boring. Mystery must be maintained. She reveals carefully, strategically, and never completely. This is not dishonesty. It is preservation. A billionaire cannot replace what he does not fully understand. This is why some of the most legendary wives seemed elusive. Grace Kelly, for example, married into royalty but remained enigmatic. She was admired, adored, but never ordinary. She cultivated distance within closeness, leaving everyone wanting more. The hidden rule: never let him finish the puzzle. Always leave one piece missing. Rule 20. Independence within the marriage. The strongest wives build invisible independence, separate networks, private confidants, personal passions. These are safety nets. If the marriage falters, she does not collapse. If the empire crumbles, she does not vanish. This independence creates leverage. He knows she stays because she chooses, not because she must, and that makes him cling harder. The ordinary woman fears independence, believing it signals disloyalty. The strategic wife understands it signals permanence, because loyalty means more when it is voluntary. Independence ensures that loyalty is never mistaken for need. Rule 21. Replaceability is death. In billionaire circles, women are abundant, beauty is abundant, even charm is abundant. What is rare, what cannot be replaced, is aura. The billionaire's wife becomes irreplaceable by mastering all the rules: boundaries, scarcity, mystery, detachment, legacy, image. She creates a presence so carefully cultivated that no rival can duplicate it. This is why some wives remain icons long after divorce or death. They were never interchangeable. They were singular. The forgotten wives are the ones who relied only on beauty. The unforgettable ones are those who understood this code. Replaceability is death. Irreplaceability is immortality. Case study: Jackie Kennedy. After Onassis. Jacqueline Kennedy. Onassis proves this rule. She outlived two of the most powerful men in modern history, John F. Kennedy and Aristotle Onassis, and yet her aura never faded. Why? Because she was never replaceable. She had cultivated mystery, discipline, and detachment so perfectly that even after their deaths, her legend endured. She was not defined by them. They were defined by her. Rule 22. Power over the narrative. The final hidden rule is this: control the story. Billionaires control companies, markets, politics, but their wives control the narrative. They decide what image endures, what story is told, what legacy is remembered. A man may be admired for his wealth, but the woman who controls the story outlives him. She becomes the archivist of reputation, the guardian of myth. This is why memoirs, interviews, curated images matter. The wives who shape the narrative decide how history remembers the empire. Without her, the story collapses. With her, it becomes eternal. Case study: Priscilla Chan. Priscilla Chan, wife of Mark Zuckerberg, offers a modern example. She is not flamboyant, not constantly in the spotlight. Yet she controls narrative through philanthropy. By shaping their public story as a mission of education and medicine, she elevates both herself and her husband beyond tech wealth into global influence. Her visibility is carefully managed, her narrative disciplined. It is not coincidence. It is code. The final lesson. When you look at the lives of billionaire wives, the pattern is unmistakable. It is not beauty that secures permanence. It is not obedience. It is strategy. Boundaries enforced calmly. Mystery maintained relentlessly. Legacy cultivated ruthlessly. Detachment worn as armor. Independence preserved at all costs. These are the rules whispered in private, never spoken aloud. These are the laws that turn wives into dynasties. And here is the paradox. Outsiders think billionaire wives are lucky. Insiders know they are disciplined. The forgotten wives thought love was enough. The unforgettable ones knew that power must be cultivated. So the punchline is this: the ordinary woman is loved briefly. The beautiful woman is admired. But the dangerous woman, she becomes irreplaceable. Because beauty may capture him, but only strategy ensures he never escapes.